Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go. It's a brand new
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. Now, if you are just checking in with us, I have been here and I have been discussing with the CEO of the Tobago Information Technologies Limited, Mr. Ian Williams, and we chatted a bit about his return from that ICT seminar in China, connections that were made, policies that can be implemented, and all that can be done to make Tobago into what we may deem to be a smart city. But in order to facilitate ideas and policies of this nature, one thing that is needed is training. Training at all levels, training of staff and training of the youth, as the youth of today would be the persons managing, operating, and just living in this technologically savvy era. And so we are talking about what is being done to train the youth in ICT in all sectors, that is. Tell us about that.
All right, so definitely. So Tobago Information Technology, we have been operating a S.T.E.M camp, as you call it. And that S.T.E.M camp, and I talk post-COVID, we have restarted that S.T.E.M camp, and we started. Well, first of all, let me just explain to your viewing audience what S.T.E.M is. And S.T.E.M is actually science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And it's a different learning approach with regards to helping the youth with regards to critical thinking, etc. All right, so we run a S.T.E.M camp during the holiday periods. And we are now the last camp which concluded during the July-August holidays saw us field approximately 150 students in different disciplines, and those disciplines range from animation, coding, drone technology, robotics, etc. But one of the things that we understand at Tobago Information Technology is that we cannot just have students coming to do the same thing over and over repetitively, which is why this year we'd have done two things. Apart from the usual extending the curriculum, we'd have added new modules. So we now have at information technology 3D printing, Ms. Felix.
Wow.
Persons could have come in and drawn their models and create 3D printing right there.
So members of the public can do that. So if I'm an
offering that
engineer
service now to
and I have
the
a
public.
project to submit for school or something, and I need it to be 3D printed, I
You
can
can.
come. Wow.
You can.
And what is there a cost attached to that?
Yeah, there is a cost. It's 130 per gram or milligram. It's there, and the advertising campaign has just kicked off. So I ask persons to tune into T.I.T.L and all the efforts and call 211, our contact center information service, where all our catalogs are there and available, where they can give you more information.
Right. Well, go ahead. You said you all are
Yeah, we
offering
also
3D
did.
printing.
We wanted to encompass electronics, but just electronics, no. We did electronics with smart home automation. So persons now would be create those electronic circuits and plugs and switches, etc. But they will implement it and schedule it with things like Alexa and Google Home, etc. All right, we're exposing them to things like that. The virtual reality kits, etc. Coding, and robots by Lego this time. So we've extended it, and we will continue to extend and extend as we go along.
All right, and let's talk about the Python bootcamp, right?
Nice.
This is the coding bootcamp.
Yeah.
Is this one for beginners, or the kids have to have some level of exposure? Because this one is saying that you have a Python bootcamp that is a to fast track your coding skills, but this is happening from December the 9th to the 13th. I see you have an age group here of 15 to 21. So is it that you can come with absolutely no knowledge of coding, or should the young persons come with at least some base level knowledge?
Well, if you have some knowledge of coding, it's always well. But the way we configure the classes, we configure it with multiple tutors in such a way that we can hold persons at different levels entering, as well as different learning skills. So whether you come with some skill or no skills, or you proficient and still want to fine-tune those skills, we are able to take you on within this boot camp and strengthen you to a place where you a better programmer in terms of developing and so on.
Wow, that is excellent. So guys, that's $500
Yeah.
per attendee. And this is happening from the 9th to the 13th. This is Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And in the boot camp, students will be able to get hands-on experience solving real-world problems in math, science, designing games, and a lot more. Now let's go back to the actual training program.
Yeah.
Well, for the STEM program that we just discussed, would this be held at T.I.T.L as well?
Right, so our programs are usually held at T.I.T.L. There are some programs which we take to the road with regards to going to different communities, underserved and unserved, because our mandate is not just to push this learning within the city. We have to reach every nook and cranny of Tobago, all right? Which is why I want to segue straight into our new offering that we are launching pretty soon, which is our STEM Academy. And that academy encapsulates creating all of this not just at Signal Hill, with an outreach within Tobago, getting the students ready and not just exposing them here in Tobago, but inter-island as well as regionally with challenges, etc., where they can look forward to seeing the skills that they're competing within this space, move and compete in Trinidad, up the region with regards to camps and groups and so on. Because, competitiveness pretty much drives a different edge in terms of development.
Right. Talk to us about the fundamentals in digital proficiency.
Yeah. So the fundamentals in digital proficiency is this is a program that we taught out with regards to moving, as I said, out of Signal Hill and Scarborough. So we literally take everything that is required for learning and we carry to different communities. So we were in Bonaccord, we're still in Bonaccord as we speak, where we have about 50 participants. So we go there every Wednesday, we carry everything, you don't worry about anything. The laptops, the tables, the internet, everything is prepared there for you, and highly skilled tutors and assistants. You just come there for 3 hours and we better your skills in terms of the use of the computer, the productivity skills, and we don't just do it as a theoretical or practical. We make it linked to the things that you have to do. You're a plumber, hey, we help you to create quotes and invoices and all these different things, do your budgets. Right?
Wow.
So we make it, real life in that regard.
Right. And is it that you have a new intake that is happening for this fundamentals in
Right,
digital
so the
proficiency?
fundamentals after Bonaccord, we do take a slight break for the Christmas period, but we're back at it at the end of January. And we do have a poll that we are commissioning now that will guide us to the next community that we are taking this FDP. All right, so month on month, we'll be going to a different community, keeping the caravan and the bandwagon rolling.
Right, guys, and this is the fundamentals in digital proficiency program that's
Yes.
being held by T.I.T.L, the Tobago Information Technology Limited. Now, this allows for young persons and adults to receive that training and tutoring in digital literacy, whether it means to learn how to prepare a professional document, as you indicated, how to navigate the digital space, and just learning internet and cyber safety. It's so important to be a part of this. Put your children into this program, and even as an adult, to not allow the world to pass you by. There's so many applications and forms and these things now that are being put fully online.
Yes.
And we have to prepare this generation to be able to adequately utilize the technology so that no one is left behind. But you indicated that there are some other courses that T.I.T.L under the S.T.E.M Academy will be hosting. How soon would those things be open, and can persons like myself also enroll in that?
All right, so under the S.T.E.M Academy kicks off in January, and the three focus areas we are doing there in the first semester, because we want to run it concurrent with the school semester. The three focus areas are web design, we're going to do some drones, as well as in-depth programming. All right, and this academy will focus both on STEM, the youth and the development, as well as the older persons. We've been having a lot of requests with regards to the larger groupings, so things like programming and drones. Hey, I'm a business owner, I want to develop my web strategy and use Canva better and use all these things. So we have created courses that could even help these persons with regards to those efforts going forward.
Right. And what can we see coming out of that programming strategy course?
The programming strategy.
You indicated web design, drones,
Okay,
as well as
programming. Right. So with regards to programming now, because we spoke earlier about automation, and automation in its essence is programming. And a lot of the things going forward, whether it be web development, whether it's automation or making things work, that programming or level of programming is required. As a matter of fact, from where I sit, I can tell you that we don't have a large cadre of programmers here on the island. All right, and that is something that we as a responsible institution are working to build that capacity on the island. All right, web development, app development, etc.
Right. And so when it comes to being a part of that programming course, do you have to have any type of coding experience to enroll?
Right, so the beauty about the programming courses, they come in levels. So if you're coming with little to no knowledge, you will start at a level 1. If you're coming and when they do that assessment, you're at a stage that you can't progress, you're at level 2 and so on. So we pretty much stagger in it so that we don't stack beginners and experts, you know how that goes from
Right.
teaching perspective.
Excellent. Now, we look forward to also being a part of that program because we know that the software engineering is a huge industry
Definitely.
and that allows a lot of young persons to travel the world, work remotely, and make a lot of hard currency. I know personally for myself, when I lived in Amsterdam, most of my friends were Nigerians. And they came to the Netherlands because companies brought them to the Netherlands because they were self-taught coders and software engineers. So there is that huge industry of, a lot of well-paid, very young persons, like persons who have not even gotten to 25 yet, and are making so much money just from doing that software engineering.
And more than ever, that skill is required now and is paying a lot more than previously. And you can do it. We have nomads. You can do it from right here within Tobago.
Correct.
You travel, whether in Mexico, wherever, you log in and you get the job done, and you're paid well in hard currency.
Exactly. And so it's even a skill that a person might just want to have up their sleeves just in case. Just in case you want to decide to switch industries, it's never too late.
That just in case could turn into a lifetime career.
Correct. And it's never too late to do something different. And why is it important for Tobagonians to really tap in and benefit from these programs? I mean, there might be a time when these things become so expensive to enroll in as the value of the knowledge increases. Why is it important, as the S.T.E.M Academy is now launching, that persons take full advantage of it at this stage?
So why is it's important? We really want to, first and foremost, spur that critical thinking in persons. A lot of times, and funny enough, now we live in a copy and paste era. I'm not ashamed to say that a chat GPT put this in and it comes out. So we really need to spur back that level of thinking critically and understanding within the person, because all these new age jobs and higher paying jobs, this is the baseline for it. You have to be able to think and solve real world problems using the skills that you have gotten. All right. So this is our effort in terms of getting the persons there and building that from a very young age going forward. All right. Grooming them to take this new, and I should stop saying new generation, this generation that is already upon us with regards to new jobs and development.
Right. And when it comes to the resources being allocated to the type of work that you're doing, why is it so important for enough financial resources to be allocated towards the Information Technologies Limited?
Well, two things. So the first thing is that we charted with regards to that digitalization movement, and to get that backbone and the development of the back-end systems and training, etc., that is required. The finances are required for those build-outs. All right. training the cadre of persons that we here locally could start solving our own problems. All right, these are some of the things that we require the funding for. And the thing about IT systems, once you start building out and laying that groundwork with IT systems, over the years, once you stay with it, it's more or less upgrading. So that initial upfront expenditure is required to bring us to a place where we can use that as a backbone to build out against. All right, that financial backing is. Funny enough, we all understand that we are at a time that the funding isn't always there. But then again, that's IT for you. Thinking outside the box, thinking critically, finding ways that we can generate our own income. Because as I always say, ICT is something that transcends geography. So from a funding or generating our own income, it doesn't have to come from here. And that is some of the focus points now of T.I.T.L. Moving our contact center, and we're almost there. A lot of negotiations going on the back end in terms of doing campaigns abroad and for different entities, all right, as opposed to just assisting the persons, which we do with human service with the persons here, business numbers and governmental services and so on. But we're raising the other arm of it, which is the income generating contact center. And we've done a lot of that over the past fiscal year. And we are continuing in our efforts in terms of raising that income to becoming more self-sufficient.
Right. I mean, because that is a big industry, having those remote contact centers for a number of those international conglomerates where you call and you speak to someone all the way in China or India. That is a huge industry. So is this the route that T.I.T.L is taking in
It is.
terms of diversifying its income generating streams?
Yeah, it is the route, and a lot of things align for us. We are what you call nearshore. We're in a couple hours from the United States and Latin America. We don't have the worst accents here. We have very proper accents with regards to that, proper time zone. You look at some of the call centers in India and so on. When you're speaking to them, it's 12 hours on the opposite side and so on, late responses at times. So the mobile and fiber penetration on the islands, right? So we're in a good place with regards to everything being right with criteria for developing within the contact center area. And it's an area that, as I said, we worked on for the last year or so. We have pulled some nice customers on board, and we are continuing that drive in terms of building our customer base. And pretty soon, we're hoping to make it one of the, if not the most reputable contact center within the country.
Excellent. Now we're going to take a quick break and we're going to continue this conversation right after this. See you soon, guys. Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Now we have been here on set and chatting with the CEO of the Tobago Information Technologies Limited, Mr. Ian Williams, a guy fresh off the jumbo jet, as we like to say, freshly back from China. And now, so with everything that has happened over the past 3 weeks in China, the training, the exposure, the connections, and everything. Why do you think it's important for more Tobagonians in different sectors to be able to have these type of trips and this type of exposure for the productive development of the island, despite all of the talk about traveling too much and too much money being spent on travel? Why is it so important for this particular type of travel to continue to happen?
Right, so it's very, very important. And let me firstly say, I went to China with my expectation bar set extremely high. And as high as I set that, it was shattered based on what I saw out there. And the importance of getting more Tobagonians, younger, and even heads in different industries out there is that we could create some benchmarks and some parallels of where we really want to go. Because seeing is believing, but once you get here and you touch it, it's really the truth. And once you start understanding, hey, this is what I'm developing my skills and this is what it could be. And we have persons at different levels, the technocrat level, the developmental level, heads of department, leadership level. Then that creates a whole paradigm where this grouping could work towards and be the driver or the catalyst towards carrying our society to the similar journey that I described earlier with Shenzhen. 40 years. This has been created already. We don't have to create the entire picture. But I believe once we have these type of persons with the exposure, we're gonna get there a hell lot faster, to be honest.
Right. Do you think it's important to get a younger group, young, very impressionable minds out into China to basically set the stage for the future and how we want them to start thinking?
Yes, it is, because let me tell you, a lot of we talk from time to time about brain drain. Persons here, we go to college, we get everything done, and then what? There isn't the jobs paying for IT. We probably don't even have the vision when we complete that. But when these persons start seeing where they could channel some of their efforts with regards to developmental, seeing it even within while they're doing these courses or this degree or whatever, it could actually change their mindset. And we could spur the next Alibaba right here in Tobago. We could spur the next Huawei, these kind of groups where one person would have sat and from exposure and some divine intervention sometimes had that vision and would have had the wherewithal to go and fight to bring that vision to reality. And that is some of the things that we really need to push forward. I look at some of the entrepreneurs and so on. You have people like Michael Dell. At 18 years old, he found Dell. So there is no age limit. The younger you can get into technology, understand the business model and where it could fit in. And I dare say, not just governmental. We need to have a robust private sector that could think out the box. Just as some of the bigger things we see in the States, it might not be the model for here, but look at things like Uber Eats and some of these things. Person sat in a garage and, why do I have to go for food? Why can't the food reach me? Look how many people want this. And I'd turn this into a $1 million industry, multi-million dollar industry. So definitely we need to get the persons out there to get that vision, get that drive, get that understanding, so they have a clear vision and goal what they're working to.
Excellent. Well, we want to thank you so much for coming on here this morning, giving us an update on that China technology seminar that you went to, having that exchange, making those connections, and not forgetting that the S.T.E.M Academy is launching that Python programming bootcamp very soon
Yeah.
for young persons between the ages of 15 to 21. Now, this is going to be from the 9th to the 13th of December, and make sure you enroll your kids in that. You know, the children are so smart already. They're already ahead of us when it comes to using the technology.
Definitely.
We might as well enroll them in the S.T.E.M camp, man. Yeah, so the Python programming bootcamp is something that you can be a part of, and now we are rounding up this cohort of the fundamental digital proficiency program that's happening currently at the Canaan Bonaccord Multipurpose Center. And at the end of January, we'll have another cohort happening, and the venue for that will be announced. So guys, for only $500, you can set your children on a trajectory for success in digital programming and software engineering. $500.
And that $500, they get all the equipment on their devices so they can sit home and program and take it further and further and still have that support system continuing through the academy.
So for $500, your child can change the position of your entire family.
Definitely.
So it's something to think about. Guys, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussion. We want to thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am Shenell Felix, and I want to say a special thank you and have a great day.